Good evening, everyone, and welcome to A World Awakening. Happy Friday, or as we say in the Bush household, Friday. Thank you all for tuning in, especially our live folks that are tuning in, and then also for those who will be watching the replay. Thank you for taking time out of your Friday night. Couple things first. A lot of you know I live in St. Augustine, Florida. We're just dealing with Nicole a month and a half after dealing with Ian. I was very lucky, again, somehow. I'm pretty convinced that the energy we get from our paranormal people and family really have helped us stay safe the last two storms. So we live on an island. I don't think it's even half a mile wide at its widest point. It's about 15 miles long, I think, but it's pretty small. So we're pretty close to the intercoastal waterway, which is what typically floods first. So we had about the same amount of flooding as we had for Ian, so about 4.5 feet. And it was about 2 inches from our front door. So fortunately, I have become a hurricane prepping pro, and we started caulking our doors. So that's really saved us the last two storms. So anyone who lives in a flood-prone zone, hint for you, either silicone caulk and plumber's tape or expandable foam. But expandable foam is a bitch to get off the door. But anyway, I addressed this all just to say Daytona Beach got absolutely throttled. They're about 50 miles south of us. And so many of these coastal communities are still reeling from the effects of Ian. And so if you live in one of those areas, my recommendation, if you want to help, is just go find somebody who's cleaning their yard, pulling stuff out of their house. Just pull over, bring some boots, and jump in and help, because I know how tired I am after one of these storms. I mean, the waiting, the not knowing, the shift in track, the potentials, the what ifs. They're obviously always preparing us for the worst case scenario. But, if you're actually waking up today, tomorrow, the next God knows how long at a complete disaster that once was your life in your house, I can't express the feeling when people walk in to help. And so, hey, Jonathan. So I think if you want to spread a little kindness, I would say try and find a business, a neighbor, a family member, anything, to step in and just try to help. That's about all we can do right now. So, I spent Wednesday night. I got prepped on Wednesday. I'm an over prepper. And we got a call from a neighbor who lives on the waterfront properties, which is about 100 yards from us, that one of the elderly ladies that lives there, who just had her condo completely ripped apart because of the flooding from Ian, and had just had her new kitchen cabinets delivered. So they asked us if we could go over and lift those cabinets off the ground so that those didn't get destroyed as well. And they flooded again. So I think they were looking at about 4 inches or so. So anyway, I say all this just to say that I send all my love and support to the people around us who are really still struggling and suffering from the effects of these storms, and just praying that we're done for the season. We have to wait. Hurricane season ends, I think, November 30th. So that's that. But just, spread a little kindness if you feel called to. But on to happier, exciting things. I'm super stoked about tonight's guest. This is my dear friend, Carrie Hopper. I met Carrie randomly back in the end of 2021. I was invited to join an investigation of Trans-Allegheny, and they had a big group Facebook chat. So this was back, I'm guessing, in November. And then I was given the opportunity to fly out to Vegas for Para-Unity. So I started looking at hotel prices and was immediately absolutely floored by the cost to stay at the MGM Grand, which I think was around like $330 a night or something like that. So I had put something about that trip in the group that I was, really kind of bummed because I was having a hard time finding a hotel that was not going to cost me most of my limbs. And this woman steps in. She's like, hey, we don't know each other than in this chat, but I got a buddy who works at a hotel in Vegas. Let me see what I can do. And 10 minutes later, I get an email for a confirmation for a room for a ridiculous rate. It was a non-gaming hotel, which for somebody like me who tends to get overwhelmed with too much like sight and sound, was great. It It was about a mile off the strip, so it was easy to like Uber back and forth. And she really, really helped me out. So again, after that, we just start talking more and more, kind of off out of the group, and we have become very fast friends. Usually when something exciting happens in my life, she's one of the first people I call outside of family, because I feel like it's important to have those people in your corner who are happy for the things that you're doing, happy for the opportunities that you're getting, and they want to celebrate with you. And she's very funny. She's very much aware of many hats. It's very hard to describe Carrie, but she is a paranormal investigator. She and her co-host Laura run History of a Haunting podcast. She's a very gifted researcher. She's great when she does these live shows. I mean, she's got tons of experience, way more than I'll ever have. But she's just one of my favorite people on the planet. But when I told Andrea I was having Carrie on tonight, this one thing that Bill is going to play for you here will pretty much sum up Carrie's personality in one clip. So Bill, you can hit that whenever you're ready, and then we'll bring Carrie on.
All the best people are crazy. All the best people are. Where is my prescription? Doctor, please listen. My brain is scattered. You can be Alice, I'll be the Mad Hatter.
So, without further ado, I bring Carrie Hopper. I didn't tell you I was going to do that to you.
No, you really didn't. Thanks for that.
But it's so good.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that one because it took me days to figure out how to do that TikTok. I don't know how.
I don't TikTok.
Are full-time TikTok creators. I have no idea how they put so much content out multiple times a day because it took me like a week to figure out.
Well, the costume, the makeup, the whole thing is just phenomenal. And when I told Andrea you were coming on, she's like, seriously, you have to get that clip on the show. I don't care what it takes. Get it on the show. So welcome.
Thank you.
Carrie.
Welcome
back, I should say, because you were here not too long ago, but you...
Not too long ago, yeah.
Had an event you were doing, and so you didn't jump on until the very last 15 minutes. So I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You wanted to have both Laura and I on the show, and my beautiful niece Emma, who I call Gorgeous, was graduating from high school, so right. I jumped on as soon as I could, and just kind of popped in, and Laura stole the show.
Laura did great. Laura, she's such a chill personality.
She really is
funny. But she's got that subtle humor, which is my favorite kind.
She does, yes. And she and I work very well together because I'm so loud and in ostentatious, and Laura's just sort of like that real, we balance each other out very, very well. And Laura kind of lets me, have the spotlight that I love, and so
but you're so good at it.
Thank you. Yeah, Laura did really well. I watched that episode of A World Awakening that she was on often because she was just so phenomenal.
She really was. And it's hard to come on here, especially if you're a person who's more the background. It's difficult to step up and walk onto one of these shows not knowing, how that's going to shake out. It's one thing to host your own, like you guys do on the podcast, but you record, and it's history, and it's, experiences you have investigate. Like coming onto one of these is a totally different ball game, and she absolutely killed it. And I was so grateful that she was willing to come on and do that with us. Oh, my headphones are falling out.
Yeah, she was really sorry, Laura, I'm going to out you. But she was very, very. She had a lot of anxiety because it's Andrea Perron's show.
Yeah.
And
don't I know it?
Yeah. In the industry, Andrea Perron is I think I told you that when I talk about her, I'm like, Andrea freaking Perron. Just. And so Laura was like, so how many people watch the show? And I was like, Do you want me to tell you? And she was like, no, I don't.
Don't tell me how many people watch this.
No. So yeah, but she came on and she killed it. And History of a Haunting, I founded the show with my friend Archie, and we did it for almost 2 years, him and I.
Yeah.
And then we brought Laura on as a third party, as our skeptic, and then Archie decided to step back. And stepping into that kind of shoes on a podcast that's already established, it's got a good fan base. Like I have my fans, Archie had his fans, the show together had their fans. That was very, very daunting.
Yeah.
And because History of a Haunting is something that I came up with, like everybody knows I called Archie one drunken night and was like, hey, we should start a podcast. And
aren't all the best ideas done that way most of the time?
They kind of are, yeah. Like he's
one way or the other, great or terrible.
Yeah, Carrie's like, just because it's a stupid idea doesn't mean it's actually a bad idea. I'm like, and so History of a Haunting is my baby.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very particular about everything having to do with it. So I had no problems, Chris. I had no hesitations, no problems. Hi, Everett. Having Laura come on by herself and represent the podcast on such a huge platform on a show of somebody who is so well respected in the industry.
Yeah.
I was like, you're going to be just fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Like she was stressing and I'm like, yeah, I had no problem. I didn't worry one bit. She did, but
you should have been like 4 people watch it. It's 4. It's just 4.
It's just 4. It's just you and the host and the producer.
That was one of my fears. Like being a guest is one thing, but then when Andrea's like, well, can you step in as host? And I'm thinking,
yeah, that would be
kidding me.
Mm-hmm, that would
my sister's like, you can't see them, because like we've discussed, if you were to put me in a room full of people and ask me to do this in front of live humans, I would cry and walk off the stage and I'll be in the corner, somebody step in for me.
Yeah.
But since we're already discussing History of a Haunting, those people who don't know about History of a Haunting, give us the rundown, how you do it, what's your favorite stuff to do with it is. I know the answer to that already, but these people don't. So tell us how you put this beautiful symphony of a podcast together.
Beautiful symphony of a podcast. I love it. I'm going to change all of our taglines.
Do it.
That's amazing. So essentially, History of a Haunting is we're a comedy podcast, but we do our actual tagline is that we tell you about all of the famous, infamous, and almost famous locations and why they became terrifying places to visit. So our goal is to really do a solid deep dive into the history of some of these locations. And I've been so fortunate. So I do the haunting portion and Laura does the history portion, and before her, Archie did. And both of them were really phenomenal. Oh God, Laura she goes down some rabbit holes and she's like, holy crap. But one of the things that a lot of our listeners tell us in reviews and comments and messages to the podcast is they learned something they didn't know about their favorite haunted location.
Yes.
And that is so important to us.
Yeah.
It just sort of elevated the haunting side of it because I think everybody has watched Ghost Hunters. They have watched most terrifying places in America. And we have covered those locations. We have covered the Winchester Mystery House. We have covered Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. We have covered Eastern State Penitentiary. But I think what a lot of podcasts or a fair amount don't do is they don't go to those locations.
Right.
And we have gone to them. So we have our own experiences that we add to those locations. And Archie and Laura both have just gone in and researched, and they have been like, oh, well, that's an interesting story. And then they've kind of gone deeper to find out and tried to validate that story.
Yeah.
And the other part of it is that we just sit around and we drink a glass of wine or whatever it is we want to drink, and we have this conversation. So another thing that our listeners tell us is that it's like sitting around with friends.
Yeah.
And talking about our favorite haunted locations. And
Yep.
those are compliments that we never in a million years would have imagined that would get. And the podcast, we're just celebrated our 3-year anniversary.
That's amazing. You have merch now?
We have merch now. We just did a merch pre-sale, and our vendor is hard at work getting all of the orders together. We had so many orders. They were like,
that's so good.
That's a lot. Fortunate. And what I love is that I found a local, hi, mommy.
Hi, mom.
I found a local vendor that could do it. So then we don't have to wait for them to do it and then ship it to me, and then we ship it out so I can just go pick it up.
That's awesome.
But we have merch now, and it is, this podcast has become something that I never, ever, and Archie never, ever, and Laura never, ever imagined it would become. But we have, so one of my dearest friends, her name is Erin K. Bailey, and she's a breakbeat DJ. Her DJ name is EKB Star, which I was like, oh my God, my friend Erin Kathleen Bush, she's also EKB.
Same initials.
It was amazing, yeah. So she does a lot of shows in clubs and raves and things like that. And every now and then I will get a text from her, and she'll be like, so last night I talked to this girl and we got to talking about our likes, and like, she was like, I love the paranormal. And I said, hey, do you listen to podcasts? And this one girl was like, yeah, absolutely. In fact, have you ever heard of this one podcast? It's called History of a Haunting.
I love it.
He messaged me and I was like, I'm sorry, she said what now? So this morning I wake up and she lives in Seattle. So they're now 2 hours, behind us. And she's like, so Carrie, I have to tell you that I DJ'd this show last night and we got to talking, and the girl was like, oh my God, paranormal podcast, and my favorite is History of a Haunting. And I was like,
yeah.
So she's the main DJ at the show. And she's like, oh my God, that's one of my really good friends. And the girl was like, stop it. Oh my gosh, she's so amazing. And will you tell Carrie about my paranormal experience? And EKB was like, yeah, sure. Do you want one of my stickers? And she was like, oh, a History of a Haunting sticker? And Aaron's like, no, one of mine. and the girl was like, no, that's okay.
That's phenomenal.
Talking, and Aaron's like, I'm actually going to be on, History of a Haunting. And the girl was like, oh, okay, well then I'll take your sticker. Like, he goes, apparently, like, that gave me more clout. And I was like, stop it. What are you freaking saying right now? I can't even.
But isn't it fascinating though to pour so much love and effort into something and to know how much people enjoy it, and especially people you don't know? Like, I think that's the best part. It's not your mom, hi Miss Nancy, or you know what I mean? Like, it's not just your family. Yes. It's like, oh, your podcast's great. You're getting random people from everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it. And that's got to be such an awesome feeling to know that all your work and love is really lighting people up, for lack of a better phrase.
It really is. And it's not anything that I ever strived for when I pitched the idea to Archie.
Yeah.
And it's, with Laura taking over for him, this girl, goddamn. I mean, her ideas are just off the charts. So she was like, hey, what if we tell weird stories every week? And it's so popular. And she has the same excitement and ideas and like goals and for the podcast that I have. And And it's really just been tremendous. And I can't, I just can't believe my good fortune with the podcast and what the podcast has led me to.
Yeah. Well, you can almost two-side that question around the podcast. I mean, obviously you were already into the paranormal. So, yes. You started, if you want to give kind of the skinny on how you got started there. Yeah. But then also how that's kind of, I'm using my hands a lot. I need to stop that.
I mean, I gesture a lot too.
I'm not even Italian. I know that's a thing. I'm just using my hands a lot. But give the backside of it too. Like, what has it allowed you to, what other opportunities is it giving you in the paranormal community outside of what you were already doing?
Well, so ultimately, I wanted to go on an actual paranormal investigation. And so, how most people do, they do like a Google search, like what's going on in like the town I'm in.
Yeah.
And I found Copper Canyon Research, which offered paranormal investigation. Yeah, I know. Yeah. My mom does. She loves Laura's history and she watches just about every episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But once Laura's done and it's my creepy part, my mom's like, man, I'm done. And so she just ever watches Laura's. So thank you, Mom. But also, so my cousin and I booked a tour at the Phelps Dodge Hospital, which Tony and Cherie Rathman and Chris Allgood and Audra Keeler were doing public paranormal investigations of. And it was 2 hours. They give you a quick tour. They give you the equipment. They tell you how to use it. And then they send you on your way, which was really important to my cousin and I because our grandparents started their family there.
And this is, now tell people who don't know where Phelps Dodge is.
It's in Ajo, Arizona.
Okay.
And it was the hospital that was built there for the mining community because Ajo had the world's largest open pit copper mine.
And that hole is huge. And it is right behind it.
Yes, it's not that far. It's like there's a street and then there's some land and then there's the
giant hole in the earth.
Giant hole in the earth. Yeah. And our grandfather worked as a welder for the mine. Oh. And he met our grandmother at a dance at the local high school. And they got married and they had, sorry, Mom, at least 2 sons. She's going to comment something in a minute. But they had their first 2 children there, which happened to be 2 sons. And then after that, they left and they moved to Washington and they had my mother. But one of their sons was my cousin Vicky's father. Mm-hmm. And so it was very important for us in a lot of ways to be able to just tour the hospital.
Sure.
And it's really no small thing to be able to stand in a room where your family began.
Yeah.
And we actually after the episode, look at me, I'm sorry, podcast hat. After the tour, we gave all of the equipment back to Tony and Chris, and they took it back, and then they
there it is. I knew that was coming.
I'll explain that in a minute. But we gave all of the equipment back to them, and then we left. And while we on a break, I happened to have a conversation with Tony and Cherie and Chris and Audra because they literally were just like, hey, here's the hospital, here's the hot spots, here's the equipment. And then they stepped outside and they let us have free reign over the hospital.
Which is awesome.
So on a break, I happened to be chatting with the 4 of them. And I was like, hey, I have a podcast. And hey, this and that. And I think Archie and I had done maybe 2 episodes by that point. Mm-hmm. But afterward, they reviewed the evidence and Tony emailed me and he was like, hey, here's what you captured. And I was like, I'm sorry, here's what we what? And so we had captured a few EVPs at Phelps Dodge. And my cousin is outwardly a hardcore skeptic / almost non-believer. Mm-hmm. But she wants to believe.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So she had nothing, like she was stunned by what we captured. She was like, well, that's weird. And then about a few days later, I got an email from them, and they were like, from Tony and Sheree and Chris and Audra, and they were like, hey, would you like to come and do a private investigation of Phelps with us next week?
Yes, please.
And that's exactly what I said.
1,000%.
What I said was, oh my God, I would love that. That would be amazing. Let me know what time. But the minute I got the email, I ran to my mom and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like lost it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how my relationship with the Rathmans and Chris and Audra was born.
You're the best. The best.
It's absolutely the best. And so that's kind of how my desire to become a paranormal investigator started, because, and I've said it on a number of shows that I've been on, like once you get that first piece of evidence, once you get that, you're like, I want more.
All of the time. Yeah.
All the time. And I remember Ron Iacovetti was like, it's like a drug. You're like, that is exactly how it is. You don't ever want to stop.
Right.
And it just was through a number of, happenstance and situations and just life decisions that people made, that Chris and Audra made the decision to move to North Carolina almost at the exact same time that my family and I were going to move to North Carolina.
Right.
And they were like, what if we open an East Coast branch of Entity Voices?
Right.
And I was like,
hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep.
So that's how Southern Entities Paranormal was born. And once they got here first. And then once I got here, that we hit the ground running. But I have to go back because I know my mom's waiting for me to explain it. So, you know how there's websites called like Find a Grave and stuff, and they post like people's obituaries and stuff. Well, we had been looking up my grandparents, her parents, and her brothers, and we found, and not my grandfather's actual obituary, but sort of I don't know. I don't actually even know who wrote this, and neither does she. But they were like, Vic Hopper married Gladys Morris, and they did this, and they in Ajo, Arizona, and he was, brother Dell, and blah, blah, blah. And he was the father of at least 2 sons. And my mom was like, I'm here.
Hello. Right.
So, yeah. So we looked at my grandmother's entry, and it said the same thing. She was the mother of at least 2 sons. And we were like, okay. And misogynistic authors ruin the party again.
Yeah,
like,
always leave the women out. Don't even mention them.
Yeah. So I joke with her when we talk about my grandparents, and I was like, Grandma did her best with at least 2 sons. And so that's why I had to say that. So that's why my mom was like, thanks for that. But
that's a great story.
Yeah. So from there, Southern Entities was born, and we just sort of hit the ground running. We did a public investigation of Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum a year ago this past August.
Has that been a year?
It's been, well, not the
like
one that we did.
The plan. Yeah. But you guys went on one.
We went before that. Yeah. So it was August 2021 that we went to a public investigation of Trans-Allegheny, and we met Donna and Connie, and we met Zach and Mike, and we were so fortunate to meet these groups that became part of like our little. I love you, Mom. Became part of our core group of friends here, because it's no small thing to just pack up your life as you know it and leave family behind and move to another state across the country.
Yeah.
So the 3 of us had each other, but it was so much more beautiful when we met the girls of Southeast. God, here I go.
It's Friday. It's been a long
Friday.
week. You guys have had storms.
Spirits of the Southeast.
Yes.
Their logo, their initials are very similar to ours. So I'm like, Spirits of the Southeast, which is Donna and Connie, and TT and Brittany, and Larry. All of them are amazing. And then also Piedmont Paranormal, which is Zach and Mike. You've met these folks, Scott and Heather and Sarah and Everett, and we've done investigations with these people, and we have worked so well with them, and they've learned from us, we've learned from them, and aside from that, they've become very dear friends.
Oh yeah. Well, I think these kinds of relationships and friendships that come out of this community. Yeah. I always talk to people and say, like, you just skip the bullshit, the small talk, that, oh, what do you do for a living? And like the painful, just like, oh, this hurts to have this conversation.
Yeah, the awkward small talk.
Yeah, just skip to the good shit. Take me right there. We all know what we're here for. We all know what we're passionate about. So let's just get to that, and it's a totally different kind of friendship, I think.
Yeah. And then, the best part is that, and you've been around all of us. We are all a bunch of sarcastic assholes.
I mean, I would say
Sinatra and I are like
sarcastic for sure.
We are absolutely utter sarcastic assholes, but we jive really well. Well, all of them are too, and so we get along really well. We joke, we laugh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're definitely our parafam, and there's just so many different reasons that the three of us are emboldened by the decision to move back here and to form new friendships and meet new people, and we're very blessed with the folks that we've met. And you said it before you brought me on, how you and I met, and I did it. Oh, thank you, Mary Beth. We're literally everywhere you can find podcasts. I reached out to you and was like, hey, you know what? Tony and Drew were geeked the fuck out to go to Vegas. They were super excited. And Sheree was like, this is our friend Erin. And I did it because Tony and Sheree spoke so highly of you. And I was like, you know what? Listen, I have a friend. And so I called him and I was like, hey, guess what? I have somebody. And is there anything that you can do? And he was like, yeah, what's her email address? And so I asked you, and then I didn't even know what he was going to do for you.
It was, I can say it now. It was $79 a night.
Yes.
And it was like a suite.
The entire city was sold out because it wasn't just the Paracon that was there, but there was other conventions.
Oh yeah. The rodeo was there. And I had the best part about that. I think I was in the safest hotel probably in Vegas. It was the whole hotel was filled with all these unbelievably fabulous. Oh, thanks, Chris. Drag queens. And so I would get home from the event, it was awesome. And I would run upstairs and grab a jacket because it would get chilly. And then I would go down and sit and just watch these fabulous drag queens before they went out for the night. And I was like, there's not a lot I like about Vegas, but that was awesome because where else do you get to see that kind of experience and watch? I mean, the clothes, the makeup, it was like watching a beauty pageant every night at the hotel.
Right.
And I felt safe there, which was really important too when you're in Vegas, I mean,
for sure.
So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but yes, you got me the steal of the century for that hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tony and Sheree are very, very dear friends of mine. Mm-hmm. And so any friend of theirs is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And you and I started talking like outside of the Trans-Allegheny chat because we were all in a chat. We
were taking over it. So
yeah. You and I started talking and it was just sort of like you work with Andrea Perrin and I had an utter fangirl moment. And
Oh, that was good.
You were like, oh, and then you messaged me and you're like, hey, by the way, I gave Andrea your number. She's going to call you.
Oh, no, girl, I didn't even tell you that. I just gave her the number and she goes, don't tell her I'm calling. I said, oh, don't worry. I won't. I want to see how this plays out.
Well, and then I get this call and it was like Orlando, Florida. And I'm like, I don't know.
Decline.
Like decline, immediately decline.
Yeah.
And it said that I had, there
Hey,
they are.
Tony. They're the cutest.
My beautiful friends.
I love them.
I just love them so much.
Most wonderful people.
Yeah, I do. I miss them. And then it was like, this number left you a voicemail. And I was like, oh, and I listened to the voicemail and I've told you that when I talk about her, this is what I call her. It was Andrea freaking Perrin. And I was like,
what the hell is happening?
Yes. So I run downstairs and I had my mom listen to it. And she was like, who's that? And I screamed, I'm like, Andrea freaking Perrin. And she was like, I don't know who that is.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. And my mom is very much not into the paranormal. Like I said, like she watches the podcast and then shuts it off after Laura's part.
Yeah.
Laura's fabulous. Well, I might be too. She was like, you're creepy. So no horror. She has absolutely no, she's not absolutely. Jennifer DeSimon is my best friend and she was the next person. I was like, I lost my freaking mind. And it was ridiculous. So she had no idea. And so I had to like explain to her who Andrea Perrin was. And then I had to explain to her what The Conjuring was. And It was very annoying because I was just like, please freak out with me.
Right.
So I called Jennifer and same thing, Andrea freaking Perrin, freak out. And Jennifer, she's seen The Conjuring. She knows him in the paranormal. She knows The Farmhouse, everything.
Right.
And yeah, so I was like, oh my God. So I finally got up the nerve to call Andrea back. We were on the phone for 2 hours. And I was like, Ms. Perrin. And she was like, stop with that. Like immediately.
Yep.
And she's like, call me Annie. And I was like, absolutely no.
Annie freaking Perrin. Miss Annie freaking Perrin.
1,000%. Yeah. So we were on the phone for 2 hours. And from there, our friendship was born and grew. And she is one of my dearest friends.
Yep.
And you are one of my dearest friends. And it was I didn't actually get to meet you guys in person until June of this year.
Mm-hmm. And Chris and Audra too. I had met Cherie and Tony in Vegas.
Right.
And Ron and Lourdes.
Yes.
Had an absolute blast. I spent 4 hours over a trash can in Vegas talking to Ron about paranormal stuff because it was the only like somewhat quiet space. So literally 4 hours. Anyway. But yeah, so I got to meet the other half of y'all in Charlotte, which was awesome.
It was remarkable. And it was like we'd always known each other. It was just sort of
easy.
It was very easy. And it was like, I haven't seen you in forever. And literally I've never met you in person before, but it was wonderful. And we all went out to dinner and Chris and Audra were able to join us and we had just the best time.
We did.
Yeah. We had a really, really remarkable time. And Roger, I love him so much.
I know.
Roger is just, Andrea's father is like, I get how so for those who are like loyal watchers of the show, they've read Andrea's books. They know the truth of that farmhouse
story. Yeah,
they know the truth of it. But for those that really believe the movie is legit, I think the charisma and the draw of Roger Perrin, they got that right because this man is amazing.
And 87.
Yes.
87?
Amazing. he's so personable and so genuine, and his sense of humor is so sharp. I love a good wit. And Roger Perrin is, he's all of that was portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, and I know Andrew is going to watch this, and I've told you this, and I've told like Jennifer, and of course Archie knows, and Laura, and you know, but I will say this: my podcast, History of a Haunting, shameless plug. We covered the Harrisville farmhouse. We did an episode on it, and we touched on the movie version and then the truth of the story. But again, we're a comedy podcast. I have to stress that. I'm not being disrespectful. We are a comedy podcast.
Yeah. Like you said, it's a conversation with friends, and that's what people, I think that's, people need to understand that too. Yeah.
They do. And Andrea, I hope you understand it because I've never said this to her, but we're talking about the show. And we're talking about how there was kind of, yes, he is.
Hey, Melissa.
God, I love him. We were talking about like the battle that Carolyn had to go through, all of the things she had to go through.
Yeah.
And how the movie made it seem like it was because of Roger.
Right.
And I said, something to the effect of, if it were me, I'd be like, bitch, you can have him. I'm not doing that. You have him. I'm not going to go through this possession. There's no man worth that. And I was utterly joking. But then you were like, Andrea, Perrin's going to call you. And I was like, ugh.
I said this thing that one time.
This thing, yes, in my show, and but honestly, I think anybody that watched that movie was like, I don't think so. Like she can have it, you know, because of course, you know, the movie is 95% fiction.
Hollywood, yep.
Yeah, it's Hollywood. The fact that the actual story terrified Warner Brothers and James Wan. Right. Of all people on the planet.
Tells you all you need to know right there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of tells you everything you need to know. Saw is one of my favorite movies in the world. It is one, I mean, it's right up there with The Breakfast Club and Legends of the Fall. Saw is it. But it takes a special kind of mind to come up with stuff like that. And the fact that the real story freaked him out, I was like, well, they're okay. And so then I was like, I gotta have the books.
Give me the books.
Give me the books. So yeah, I was pretty embarrassed when she called me. I was like, God, she never listens to my podcast because we were like, Roger, goodbye. And then I got to meet him, and Hollywood or Wimp, they kind of are. Yeah, you're right.
Kind of are. Yeah.
And then I got to meet Roger, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like he's just amazing and wonderful. And I hope I get the opportunity to meet Carolyn because
I talked to her yesterday morning.
Oh, good.
And she sounds great. And I understand what a rare opportunity I've been given to be able to meet her, but she is just as much of a, I mean, she's tiny, but
she is tiny. I've seen her on the show.
Powerhouse, man. She, you know, that woman, and I say it all the time, she's got a serenity about her energy unlike anyone else I have ever come across in my entire life. And that includes Andrea.
Yeah. Yeah. Between the two of them, the family that they have created it's really remarkable.
It really is.
It's really remarkable. And Andrea gets it from somewhere, you know? And
yep.
Yeah. So
well, and I mean, they're just, you know, Roger at this point now, I mean, I've worked with him for about a year. If I don't text him when I land, the phone's ringing, you know, it's, and for me, it's been special because I didn't have grandparents growing up. My grandparents all died when I was 4. So it was a relationship I never understood or had. I mean, I have very fond memories of my grandparents, but I was 4, you know, like,
right. Yeah.
So to be able to experience that in my 40s now, to have that kind of relationship with them has been really special. But I've also really tried to honor like getting to know them now, like for the people they are now. I hadn't seen the movie when I met them. I didn't know who they were.
Really?
No, I'd never seen the movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But so to just have been, you don't mess with the tiny ones. Yes.
Have you met Nancy Hopper?
But I think, that's, I understand that I've been given a rare opportunity to be able to get in and be loved by them in that inner circle, and I really,
that is
a lot of those experiences I've had with them. They're not for the pup, for me to discuss. They're for me, you know what I mean? And I hold those, my time with Carolyn and Miss Christine very dear. And so, but to be able to just cut up with Roger, I mean, there are a few things better as long as you keep him caffeinated and fed and he can go all day. I mean, he's 87 years old and he can go, if he's at an event, he could go all day.
Dude, that day that we met them at the Paracon in Charlotte, I was like, I'm really tired. And he was like, when are we going to have dinner? And I'm like,
I know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but that's a generation, right?
Yeah.
That's a generation. And we're, the Gen Xers are kind of lazy.
Yeah.
At least I am.
I would, yeah. Well, you're talking to a girl who quit her job and has just basically been languishing on her couch for the last year. So I get it. Gap year, as my mom sent me an article about taking an adult gap year. Yeah. So that's what I started calling it.
Gap year.
Yeah.
So yeah. God, we started with the podcast.
I squirreled. I'm sorry. I got you all over the place. But you were talking about just getting, meeting Roger, hoping to get to meet Carolyn because, you are a fan of this.
Every time Chris posts something on Facebook, in her feed, for whatever reason, not mine, not anybody else's, it says, your friend Chris Allgood commented and your friend Chris Allgood posted. It's always your friend Chris Allgood.
That's funny. It's never just the post.
Yeah. So no, we Southern entities. Yes. Sorry, I'm
it's
getting
Friday.
us confused with
long week.
Who are we, Chris? Remind me. Our team is doing an overnight investigation tomorrow night, and I was telling Mom, she was like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "We've got the investigation, with Audra and your friend Chris Allgood." So that's how we talk about Chris. It's
great.
Always not just Chris; it's your friend. Chris.
Your friend Chris. I might have to start doing that now.
Yeah, your friend
because
Chris Allgood. I don't know. It's might be a glitch within Facebook because it doesn't do it on mine, but on hers, it's always your friend Chris.
Well, since you're discussing your relationship with Andrea, would you like to discuss where we've gone since Charlotte?
The Mojo Whammy?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to. So Andrea has a number of gifts, and one of them is the wild ability to open up a person's third eye.
Like that.
Like that. And so when we were in Charlotte, she did that with me. And you recorded it. You were filming it when it happened.
Yeah.
And when she was done, she was like, your life is never going to be the same. And when she was doing it, it was just like this wonderful massage. And I was like, oh, this is heaven. Mm-hmm. And then when she was done, she was like, your life is never going to be the same. And I was like, okay. And, honestly, I really just thought that it was, I'm a big fan of Reiki. I have benefited and been healed tremendously through Reiki. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was something similar to that. So we all said goodnight, and I drove home. And Charlotte's about 2.5 hours from my house. So as I'm driving home and I'm listening to music and I'm having, I'm just kind of like in the zone driving home. And in my mind, I picture me driving. I'm in my car on the road.
Right.
And there is an explosion of light coming out of my car, and it goes out in a 50-mile radius where I'm at on the road. And I was like, well, that's weird. And so I changed the song, and I'm, whatever. And when I get closer to home, it happens again. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So I get home, and I get home about like, God, how late were we at dinner? Like 10,
We were late. I don't think you got on the road till like 10:30, 11 or something like that. I feel like it was late.
It was late. So I get home, and I'm like, okay, I'm home. And I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. It's a normal day. And making a cup of coffee. And my mom and I have a routine. We make a cup of coffee. We go outside. We have a cigarette. We read the news. We chat. We whatever. Everything was fine. I make another cup of coffee. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm really awake yet, Mom. My brain feels heavy. And she was like, your brain feels heavy. And I was like, yeah, my actual brain feels heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the course of the day, I had moments that scared me. In that I would pick up an object and get a flash of something pertaining to that object or whoever touched that object.
Mm-hmm.
And it freaked me out. Like the first couple of times I was like, well, that was weird. Like that's just sort of my go-to, like, well, that's weird.
Right.
Blow it off.
Right.
But it happened so often that I went to my mom and I was like, something weird is happening. And she was like, what's happening? So I told her, and that day I had, or the day before on my way to Charlotte, I picked up my prescription. And when I had come home that night, I just set it on my dresser. And then like later the next day, when my brain felt heavy, I picked the bottle of pills up and to take them into the bathroom. And I had a flash in my head that the woman who filled them, she's going through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right. And that continued throughout the day until I started getting really scared because I knew that these images in my head were not mine. Also,
right.
They're not my imagination.
Right.
So one of the first people I contacted was Chris and Audra. And I was like, because Andrea had done the same thing to them. Like she had done that massage. And mm-hmm. I asked them, I was like, how are you feeling? Like, and they were like, well, we're fine. And, but they're very much like kind of,
Chris is a very gifted, sensitive, and Audra as well. I mean, and they're so in tune with each other,
like in their abilities. And they were like, we're fine. And so I was telling them, and Chris is like, you need to be very careful that it's not your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay. And so I sat there and I was like, I know my imagination.
Yeah.
And it's not this creative.
Right.
It's just not this creative. Like,
if it was this creative, I'd be rich, right?
I would be super rich.
Right.
And it was very scary, Erin. Mm-hmm. I remember calling you
mm-hmm.
and being like, what did Andrea do to me? And you were like, she didn't do anything. She can open up your third eye. She's like, and I have a feeling, and I was telling you like what I was experiencing in the heavy brain. And she was like, I have a feeling that she blew the door wide open. Mm-hmm. And she was on her way home. Like it was a whole thing. Like I couldn't get in touch with her.
Right.
And I was really scared because every single thing I touched, I got an image from.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was. And I was crying. And my mom was like, Carrie, you need to talk to her. You need to find out. She needs to undo it.
Right.
And I sat there and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like it. But I don't want it undone.
Right.
So I talked to Andrea, and she explained, what she did, and like she doesn't ever know how it's going to affect a person, and she doesn't do it like she asks you, "Do you want me?"
Oh
like,
yeah,
she
always says, "Hey, you can't.
Yes,
It's not reversible. It's like opening Pandora's box. If you open this box, if you let me open this box, you can't close said box."
Right. And she doesn't, and like she asks you, like, "Do you want me?" Like she doesn't just come up to people and be like, "Oh, creepy, like, let me rub your neck."
Right.
It's nothing like that.
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Let's do this." And so it took a few weeks. And I went through a lot of different emotions about it, because like 2 days later, we had a grocery delivery. And I was unloading the groceries, and I was unloading the gallon of milk and putting it in my fridge. And I got a flash of the kid that delivered the groceries hates working for Instacart. And he only is doing it because his mother is making it. And I'm like,
icky, right?
Yeah. So I felt very voyeuristic.
Yeah.
I felt like, especially the pharmacist who's going through a divorce, I felt very.
You feel icky about things. You know things you shouldn't know, and you have no way of knowing them, and you do. I understand that, and you're just like, whoa, that's I didn't need or want to know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I felt very violated, because I have things coming into my mind that I'm picking up and I'm touching that are not mine. They are not my memories. They are not my moments. They're things that I have no business knowing.
Correct.
And I didn't like it. And I knew that it was permanent. I knew that this was it. This is who I am now. This is an ability. Thank you, Michelle. This is an ability that I have. And I cried. And my mom held me as I cried, because, and I'm going to cry now. I felt like I was losing me. I felt like I was losing everything about me that I knew. And I don't know any of this.
Yeah.
And I grieved that loss.
It is like a death of self, because the self that you were before is no longer, it's completely different.
Yeah. Is no longer.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. And I think that, both of them won't mind me saying, my mom and Jennifer specifically were angry. They were angry, and they were upset with Andrea for blowing open my third eye. And I was like, you can't be upset with her. I wanted her to do this. Yeah. We didn't know. Like, it's not her fault.
Right.
But they saw how I was struggling and with it.
Yeah.
And now I have a better grasp of it.
Yeah.
I know how to control it, and I know how it works for me.
Yes.
I've taken classes. I've taken classes from Cindy Keza. And she's really amazing. She's wonderful. And those classes were a godsend, because they taught me how to play with it and test it and control it.
Yeah.
And now, all of the clairs, I have all of them. I have clairvoyance. I have clairaudience. I have clairsentience, which I've always had that. I didn't know it, but I've always had clairsentience and claircognizance. And now, little by little, like, now I'm starting to see the ghosts, where I wasn't before.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It does. It does. And it evolves. Yeah. Yes,
it does. It's like you say, I mean, it's like a muscle, it's something you have to work to continue to learn more about it, and
exactly,
what
to grow it and make it stronger and like work with it so that you know how to use it properly.
Yeah.
I was watching a show the other day where the person on it was saying that, you can only do one at a time. Like you either work the clairvoyance or you work the clairaudience or you work the clair. And I was like,
I didn't really have that choice. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Like, and that was the other thing too, is that they were very certain that if you are only clairvoyant, well, then you miss the spirits that are trying to speak to you in, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Jennifer's been there with me through the whole entire thing. Like,
yeah,
it's been wonderful. But Jennifer and I have been friends since we were 8. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, Chris too.
And that's, that's something you and I discussed. I mean, I think what you're describing, obviously for people like Chris who are born with abilities and know from a very young age that there's something, like however that works, because of course I'm not going to try and explain it because it didn't happen to me that way. But these are, Moon Girl, my friend Sarah, same way. So many of these sensitives have always been sensitives and have been aware of these things. Yeah. So I think as difficult as that is, there's also a massive amount of difficulty when you're coming into this shit in your 40s. I mean, this stuff hit me. I was very much the same way. Now, I haven't really allowed myself to really flex the medium muscle. It's kind of something I've still just kind of left out there for now. I pick up enough without, but I haven't completely dove down that rabbit hole yet. But Same thing, like when I blew open, and I could tell you what I was doing, where it happened. It was during a meditation. There was all kinds of stuff. But anyway, same thing. I was hearing things. I was seeing things. I was feeling things. I was tasting things. Yeah. And it was almost like they're like, oh, she's figured it out now. So let's just bombard her with everything at once. And I was also terrified.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's happening to you. And I didn't have a paranormal community at the time to figure it out with. Yeah. I did find an amazing group of spiritual women who kind of helped me with that. Like my friend Robin, who I just I'll see her tomorrow. Yeah. But it was terrifying because I wasn't expecting, I knew I was a healer of, or channeler of healing energy. Yeah. But you're not expecting someone to tell you, oh, by the way, you can talk to spirit too. It's like, what?
Exactly.
What the fuck? So
it's
a thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's exhausting and it's terrifying. Yeah.
I am very fortunate in that, like I said, Jennifer DeSimon and I have been friends since we were 8 years old.
Right.
And she is the first person I go to with everything.
Right.
Whether she wants me to bring it to her or not, I'm just like, listen to this.
She's your person.
Bullshit. So she knows how to navigate me very well. Mm-hmm. But Laura, who is our skeptic on the show, and our skeptic in Southern Entities, like we brought her on the team because she's like, well, we could probably figure this out. Laura was very, very believed me.
Right.
And I think
which is big in her world.
Like, yeah, that's the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
She believed me.
Yep.
And I knew Jennifer was going to believe me because Jennifer knows me better than anybody on the planet knows.
Right. Yep.
So she knows when I'm fucking lying. She knows when it's a bunch of bullshit, and she knows when it is legit. She's my ride or die, and she calls me on my crap all the time.
Right.
So that having the two of them and my mom really helped me through it because it was traumatic. It was really traumatic, and as traumatic as it was, I didn't want to lose it.
Right.
I didn't want to lose it. So I knew that I needed to accept it and kind of grieve the loss of who I used to be, that this is who I am now.
Right.
But it can be done. And so I started taking classes, and I started taking Cindy Kaye's classes because she is world renowned and very highly respected. And I was like, I'm going to take her classes because I just believe that she can teach me.
And she's such a nice person.
Is she?
Oh God, but there's not a lot of people who are actively. You get on television, you get the mediums who occasionally do psychometry, but so much of her work is psychometry, and that's exactly who you need to be with, just because of those abilities.
Yeah, that's how it was with psychometry. It's evolved now.
Yeah, just a smidge.
Yeah,
just a little.
Yeah,
I say that with the most sarcasm.
Yeah, you've been witness to some of the shit that that I apparently can do now. And that's kind of the thing too, is like when it evolves, now I'm just sort of like, so now that's what we're doing. Okay. Well,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
My mother and I had just gone to Pittsburgh a few weeks ago, and we're driving up I-85 through Virginia. And it's early. Oh, mommy.
That's so cute.
I know. Bless her. This woman, my God, my mother. Oh, Jesus. Her and Jennifer. God bless them. I'm not. I'm a pill. But my mom and I are driving to Pittsburgh, and it's early in the morning. The sun is just rising, and we're kind of looking around. There's a little bit of fog, and we're looking at, look at the fall trees, because we're from Arizona.
Pretty colors, right?
A lot of fall in Arizona, so we're like, it's so beautiful. And we're both looking at this field, and I'm driving carefully, Mom. But we're both like looking off to the side. And I was like, oh my God, did you see that guy? And she was like, what guy? And I'm like, the guy in the tree. And she was like, I wasn't paying attention. And I was like, that was weird. Why is there a guy in this weird tree? And I realized that it was a man that was hanging on himself in the tree.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay.
We're doing this now.
Mm-hmm. So that's new. That's a new thing.
Yeah.
But you and I had a few weeks ago had a thing.
Mm-hmm. We had a thing.
And so I was working on a commission painting, because I'm a painter, an artist, and I had a commission that I was working on. And I'm working on it late at night, and I have my phone, and my phone was like, hey, there's this live investigation. I know you will. And I feel very safe with you, Chris. There's this live investigation, and watch the investigation on Facebook. And I was like, okay, great. I love a good investigation. So I tap on the live, and I'm watching it. Immediately, I feel a giant pressure on my chest, and it gets harder and harder. And then there's a man screaming in my face. Mm-hmm. Stop this. This is not this is not a science experiment. This is a home. This is a home. This over and over and over and over again, screaming in my face. And I don't see him. I know he's in the location. And I panic. Mm-hmm. Because this is, again,
that's new. Right.
New. And, I'm just trying to paint gold paints on my beautiful painting. Like, that's all I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
And it was really intense. And so I remember calling you and telling you what was going on. And we talked for like an hour, I think. And you talked to the spirit. You were on speakerphone, and you talked to the spirit, and you helped him kind of back off me. Mm-hmm. And the next day, maybe was it the next day, or maybe in like a day later, you were like, Carrie, that wasn't you. You were channeling you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize it. So there are moments of our conversation that I remember.
Yeah, in and out.
Yeah. And there are moments I don't. And you were like, you were channeling him. She's mm-hmm. like, you were yelling.
You were screaming at me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this isn't Carrie now, And so I noticed the slip, and I'm like, well, okay, so I'm just going to address this who we think this is directly. And I just took you out of it. So, I'm trying to, and we had some other instances with this entity a few days later. I think we were able to come to at least some resolution as best as we were able to help him out. Yeah. But yeah, that was, that
was new.
I could hear it in your voice as soon as I was, because I missed your first call. And so I was able to then you called again. I was like, oh, I got it this time. Yeah. And I could feel it before I was like, oh boy, I don't like this. Before you even came on the line, I knew you were in trouble. So yeah, I mean, to have to real time process that with you was interesting. But I think the most amazing, like I wouldn't say you were freaking out. I think you were more, the channeling was more the freak out. I think that was, I think the initial shock of it but you're not a person who really waffles when things get crazy. So I think it was more the channeling side of it than you were actually freaking out. But
I didn't even realize I was channeling him.
What ends up happening to me is I sort of start channeling too. And because I've never just decided to talk and have that conversation with a spirit. That's not something I would normally do either. So I think I had a guide step in with me. Yeah. Not that I was out of it, but
really, I remember you were really firm and insistent. Like, listen, trust me.
Right. So it was interesting for both of us because, you and I think what's so fascinating about our friendship too, is because I'm still new at this. I mean, 3 years, I'm still very raw in I'm very confident with my energy healing, but the other stuff, might as well still spank me on the butt like a baby because I'm still figuring out, very new at this, so it's been interesting for the two of us to try and help each other out, but we've built this huge network of friends to help us kind of navigate this as well. But that was
really intense. That was really intense. And, I took Cindy Kaye's class on mediumship in paranormal investigation, which is primarily where I use my abilities. It's not ever a thing where I'm going to give readings to people.
Right.
I can. I'm very new at it. So it's not something that I
want to do it yet. Right.
Yeah, I'm not called to do it yet, if I ever will be.
Right.
But I want to develop them for paranormal investigation because I desperately want to understand the other side.
Well, we have a duty to be their voice if we can, I feel like.
Absolutely.
We're doing them a disservice if we don't try to learn more about what we can do so that we can help them better.
Right. Exactly. And in this class that I took of Cindy Kaye's, she was talking about channeling and automatic writing. And I was at the end, she wasn't saying like, you need to do this. And she didn't say that wasn't any kind of an exercise we did in the class. But at the end, when it was over, I sat here and I was like, I don't know as I'm brave enough to channel them. Mm-hmm. And then this live stream thing happened. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, apparently that's just...
It's a thing you can do.
Again, this is what we're doing now.
This is what we're doing today. Right.
Yeah. I do remember feeling very in control of myself when
when it was you were okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. When it was him, and I didn't realize I was screaming.
He was mad. But I mean, not like so loud in your house, but you were definitely, he was yelling. He was upset. He wanted his concerns that he had addressed, and he wanted you apparently to be the person to make that known. But I find that fascinating too, because
I do too, because I was like 1,000 miles away from this location.
Mm-hmm. It just shows, if that doesn't show that distance doesn't matter over there and the power of just frequency and vibration and energy, I don't know what does.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, and you know what? Have you been able to be a part of Ron and Laura's direct radio voice? Have you?
Not in person.
So,
But I've seen the lives that they do, but I would love to see that. It's like Cody and Satori. Things like that will just never get old to me.
no, yeah, it is utterly mind
My
blowing.
brain explodes every time.
Yes, it's utterly mind blowing.
Yeah.
And Laura and I and Chris and Audra had the amazing fortune to be a part of a session when we were in Gettysburg. And 3 hours, it went by in the blink of an eye, and we were all so invested in what we were getting.
Yep.
This is going to utterly change the game in paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
And it hearing Ron explain how it works made so much sense.
It's so
from a physiological physics standpoint. It made so much sense.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely dying to see what Cody and Satori can do in person, because I tried to explain to my mom and to Laura, and they were like, okay. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, they have the same gifts I do, but it just comes through them differently.
I mean, I will leave out the name and the message itself, but recently I was able to witness it, and it wasn't for an investigation. It wasn't, we were just hanging out in a kitchen, and they're not even touching. They're sitting next to each other, but they're not touching. And normally it starts when they are there's physical contact.
Somehow, yeah.
And as soon as that physical contact starts, it is just this rhythmic tapping, and it comes from everywhere and nowhere all at once. It doesn't matter. And I'm only explaining this for people who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're standing on carpet, tile, sand, grass, wood, concrete, doesn't matter.
Really?
I mean, when I was investigating with them in June on a private event, we stood on a stage, we stood on concrete, we stood on tile, carpet, and I know they've also tested it outside. So I can vouch for at least 4 of those.
Okay.
Now, but it literally comes from everywhere. It's hard to tell if it's coming from the walls or the floor or from them, or, you can actually hear them, spirits, walk into a room and get closer to them.
That is unbelievable.
And then it starts getting real fast. And Satori's basically like, all right, I can only do this one at a time. And, she kind of has these parameters she sets with them. And
you
with
almost
Cody,
have to, otherwise it would be
it's too much.
Like a blunderbuss of fucking information.
Right. So we're sitting in this kitchen, and they're not even touching. And she's kind of looking at me, and she's looking down at the floor, and she's looking at me, and because I can barely hear it. So I kind of get low, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, anyway, so this entity, the spirit, was very insistent that they deliver this message. So because we had some other things happen while we were there, and the person that this message was for did not know them, knows who they are, but had never met them other than in a passing. They had passed like ships in the night at an event recently, I think, and it was just like a, hey, how you doing? They never had a conversation. And so they're like, well, we're going to figure out who this is.
Yeah.
We're thinking it's tied to the location. Yeah. Nope. It was a very specific message with very specific names. And again, my brain explodes because I'm the one typing out the letters as they're, as the spirits are knocking. Right. You have to, because sometimes, they ask like, how many words is it? And they'll tell you, 4 words, 5 words, whatever it is, they'll tell you the words. And then the spelling begins, and you have to just go through each letter one at a time.
They're kind of like that. The way that I've explained them to like my mom and to Laura is they're kind of like a human Ouija board.
But but I think
that was scary.
Well, but I think it's one of those, like, I can see their connection, what it looks like energetically. I've seen it twice.
As far as like an aura and like light?
It's like, and I've explained that to them. I can't draw, but fortunately it's a simple shape. But like basically Cody and Satori are on one side of a triangle, right?
Okay.
So Cody on one side, Satori on the other. There's the grounding line between them on the ground.
Sure.
And then starting from way up, there's no end to it, is a beam, blue beam, the whole thing's blue, comes down from the cosmos through the center of the triangle, down to the grounding line, and up through them. And then it's almost like the spirits are either, I see it in my third eye as like they're tapping, almost like guitar strings.
Sure.
But I feel like it's a direct connection to source is what's happening.
Oh.
Like they're bypassing the bullshit. It's a straight, and it comes from up, it starts from up top and comes down. It doesn't go the other way.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, that's great.
You know, so she's like, well, where does it end? I'm like, I don't think it does. So it's almost like
I would imagine it wouldn't.
Tapping or stomping. I don't know, but that's how I see it. And we were able to validate some of that. I talked to them a little bit offline about it, but it is the most mind-blowing thing. I told them both. I'm like, I'll be 85 one day and I'll still be talking about this shit.
I have to see it in person.
Yeah.
It is a very remarkable thing. And it isn't something that I regret or take for granted or anything like that. I am an entirely different person than I was even 3 years ago when we started the podcast. I had absolutely no idea that this little baby independent podcast would lead me to the life that I have now.
It's wild, right?
I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change anything.
I wouldn't either.
I hope that the gifts that I have get stronger. I'm working on making them stronger, and I hope that they grow.
Oh, they will.
The people that I've met in this industry, oh my God, how rich can a person's life be?
Right? We have that conversation all of the time, you and I.
Yeah, we really, really do. Like, I can't even believe. It started with Chris and Audra and Tony and Cherie. And then from there, it was you and Andrea and Roger and Donna and Connie and Zach. Oh my God, my beautiful Zach. I love him so much. And his dad, Mike, and Scott and Heather and Sarah and Everett. And
it just goes.
Julie. Yeah, it's just Julie. I have this amazing cocoon of beautiful people around me that I'm just absolutely blown away, because I came into all of this already surrounded by the most beautiful, genuine golden light. Like,
yeah,
I have known Laura for 7 years.
Wow. Yeah.
I've known her for 7 years. And she's been with the podcast for almost 2. She's a dear, dear friend of mine. And it just happened to be that Archie and I found podcast gold together. And then when we added Laura, it was podcast platinum.
Yeah.
And then Archie decided to step away, and it Laura just made that role her own, and it really worked. And she is one of my dearest friends in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing in the world that I would not do for her or give to her, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I even brought her into this insane paranormal world. And I'm like, listen, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to drag you to a building, and we're going to...
In the middle of the night with no lights. Just,
no light. No lights. Just this little flashlight here, and I need you to record everything. And also there might be some black mold.
Right. No big deal.
No big deal.
And we're actually looking for spirits. That's what we're doing. Yes.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. And she's fucking here for it, man. She is here.
She's like,
for
let's do it.
Yeah. She's the best. We went to Paris about a month ago, London and Paris. And she planned one day of Paris. It was all for Carrie. And we went to Versailles and we went to the Paris catacombs. And Laura has a claustrophobia thing. Like, she's been to the Paris catacombs before. She doesn't love it. It's 130 feet underground.
Yeah, absolutely not.
It's nothing but bones.
Nope.
And she was like, I'll do it for you because I love you. And I was like, oh, like, you don't have to. Like, I'll go by myself. I don't care.
I'd say, bitch, I'll see you when you're done.
1,000%.
Nope.
Yeah.
Good on Laura.
No, she did it. She did it. And then I have my beautiful friend Jennifer, who lives in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh had one of the most infamous insane asylums, Dixmont State Asylum, and they leveled it in 2006, but the cemetery is still there.
Right.
And so my mom and I go to Pittsburgh. And we're there because Jennifer's grandmother had passed away. So we're there for her funeral. Mm-hmm. And bless her freaking heart, man. I fucking love her. Also, I mean, she didn't just do it for me. Like, she was curious too. But I was like, listen, my mom and I tried to find the asylum cemetery the other day and we couldn't find it. And she was like, let's go now. So after, the day after, like the day of the funeral and like afterwards, she was like, come over. And so I came over, and me and her daughter, Emma, would drive around and looking for this cemetery. And it's just like, I have the most amazing people in my life that are like, you're fucking weird and you make us do weird shit, but we're going to do it because we love you. And you know what? It's kind of interesting. We're just not going to admit it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And we the three of us had the greatest time. We had the best time, and I can't ask for a better life. I really, really cannot. I'm a better person now through Reiki and through learning how to meditate. I'm not as big of a hothead as I used to be. I've lost a couple of really important friendships because I was so hot-headed and so just like, I'm gonna fuck you up for this tiny little thing.
Right.
So I've lost some important friendships, and I've realized, hey, like that anti-hero Taylor Swift song you hear everywhere. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Yes, that's me. But I'm a different person now, and I genuinely believe that everybody grows and everybody learns lessons and changes because of that.
Yeah. You have to be willing to look at the hard stuff about yourself. That's why they call it shadow work. It's not fun.
It isn't fun.
It's not fun at all. It's the worst. And,
it's the worst.
People, it's love, light, and rainbows. Nah, man, sometimes. But the rest of it, you're just like screaming and hanging on for dear life going, okay, what's next? What's next? But it's so, like you said, you come to this, somehow you just find yourself on the other side of something like that. And you look, like you said, you look at your life and pinch yourself. Like, where did I find all these amazing people? Where have you been all my life? Like, when did life stop being such a struggle and a battle? Like, when did I stop banging my head against the wall? You know what I mean? There's just these shifts that you kind of wake up one day and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to and I've talked about her this entire episode, but like I said, Jennifer and I have been friends since we were 8 years old, and there have been times that she should have left.
Yeah,
there have been moments where my behavior has just been unacceptable.
Yeah. And
she has stayed with me.
Yeah.
There have been times where her behavior wasn't the best. So our friendship has been tested,
time and time.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I think you find those people and you're like, you know what? I'm not giving up on you. Well, okay, well, I'm not giving up on you, but I don't really like you right now.
Yeah.
You suck, work on that.
Right.
And
right.
honestly, I mean, I have had more to work on in our friendship than she has. I'm, like I said, I'm a fucking hothead. Like, it is what it is. I still am, but I'm picking my battles more carefully.
Yeah.
But
it's like realizing, because I'm very much the same way. I was, I tell people often, you wouldn't have liked me had you met me, A, before I got sober, and then B, really until I started doing this work, because I was an anxious-ridden, hot-headed mess all of the time, constantly wound up. I say to my husband all the time, like, why the hell, I think the beautiful thing about people like for me, obviously my parents and my siblings, but my husband, and like for you, Jennifer, these are people who have seen us at our worst and love us anyway, because it's like they know what's buried under the things that are either hurting or whatever. Like they know the true nature of your soul, even if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. 1,000%. Yes.
And it's not about seeing the potential in you, because I know that's what it sounds like, but it's like, that's not what it is. It's, they know because your souls have known each other for however many lifetimes before, right? How many thousands of years have your souls known each other?
Yeah.
They're just smarter and picking it up faster than we are.
Yeah.
So then eventually we get to jump on the same train. You're like, oh, all right, I'm here now.
Right.
What I missed, right?
1,000%. Yeah.
So thank God for the Jennifers and the Justins in our lives.
1,000%. Yes. I absolutely could not. I don't ever want to know life without her. I don't ever want to know life without Laura.
Right.
I'm so blessed. And now I have these amazing gifts, these amazing abilities. Like when you're just coming into your abilities like this as a medium, being validated is tremendous. And that I don't think, or at least I hope, will never stop being tremendous.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite validations that I got was my beautiful friend, Zach. He loves to collect military and war memorabilia.
Yeah.
And he obtained a sword from 1776.
Wow.
And he's one of the people that I had gone to and told about this new flood of abilities that I got after Andrea blew open my third eye.
Also known as
I was like, it happens when I touch stuff. And he was like, oh, okay, so we were going to go on an investigation together. And he was like, I'll bring the sword. You touch it and tell me what you get. And I was like, okay. Sure. So we go on the investigation and he forgot to bring it. But he had a picture of it on his phone. So he's like, well, touch the picture. See if you can get anything. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not going to get anything. But so I touched the picture of the sword. And like all I see is a man with light eyes and dark hair in a red coat stabbing people with this sword.
Right.
Like he's stabbing them and then he's pulling it out and he's wiping the blood off under his arm.
Right.
Stab over and over. And he was like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, also I'm getting the name Edward or Edwards or Edwardian. I'm not really sure. And he was like, that means nothing to me. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I'm just fucking crazy.
Right.
So we do the investigation. It was Saturday night. And then Sunday afternoon, he texted me and he was like, so I need to tell you something. And I'm like, okay. And he reached out to the place where he bought the sword And he asked them for more information on it. Like,
Right.
what is history? Where'd you find it? That kind of thing. And so he kind of tells me the history of the sword. And I was like, okay, all right. Because it's his I need to tell you something message felt very fraught with meaning.
Yeah.
And so he's telling me about like what they said about like, oh, the history. And I was like, this isn't urgent. He goes, and then they tell me where they found it. And I was like, all right. Just sort of like, go on already.
Just give it to me. Yeah.
Just give it to me. And he goes, they found it in Fort Edward. And I was like,
of course they did. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? And he was like, I thought you'd find that interesting. And I was like, interesting doesn't even begin to cover it. My mind was like a number of explosions.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just one of those like validations that you don't expect. You
right.
don't believe when you get it. Yeah. But at the same time, you're like, that's what I said, fucking Edward. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of like,
yeah. Well, because it's the medium, the information doesn't necessarily make sense. You know, I mean, of course,
yeah, 1,000%.
You're getting, stat or whatever, but the detail you're getting where, it's crap. I mean, I've gotten stuff from people sometimes where I'm like, does peanut butter mean anything to you? And then they start crying and the keys drop or like, I mean, I don't know. And you feel half like an idiot even saying it. Because so half the time, for a long time, I just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And, and I think the validation starts to shift from needing it for, like you and I talked about this, I think earlier this week or last week.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what day it is. There's been a hurricane.
I don't even.
All sorts of time is gone. But it starts to shift because it's more at first you're like, you need it because you're wanting to, like, this is happening to me. Yeah. This is the thing that's happening. But then it starts to shift more to, okay, well, am I getting clear information, right? Because I know for both of us, having all of the clairs, you get the information differently all the time. I don't always get it as a claircognizant download. Sometimes I'll feel it, sometimes because I have the lovely gift of, if somebody's been stabbed, I get to feel that at a location, or they've been hanged, I get to feel that, so.
Yeah. A heart attack. I'm like, oh,
this sucks. I think they call it's like, I think there's an offshoot of that. I think I sent you the article. If I didn't, I need to send it to you, called clairsomatic.
Yes, you did.
Did I send that to you? Okay.
Yes, you did.
So I think for us, it's also validating that the information we're receiving is not that it would be inaccurate from spirit, but that it's being portrayed accurately, because you don't always necessarily, like for me, I don't see a jar of peanut butter. I just get the words in my head. I don't hear them. They just pop up.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think that need for validation starts to shift a little. It's interesting because I do think it's important. It's just to what degree do we need it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's entirely true. I think, and here's the thing is that I watched a show the other night where the guest was like, you can only, like, you have to flex certain muscles, like, like this is clairvoyance and this is like you have to work. If you don't work them, they don't work. And I was like, no, that's actually not true, because I can do all of it. Yeah. And to me, the spirits are going to give me messages however they want to.
Yes.
They're either going to make me smell something, or they're going to download an image to my brain, or they're going to make me feel it in my chest, or they're going to make me feel it in my side. Like they're going to,
like they decide
however the hell they're going to give me the message.
Yeah, exactly.
That I was channeling was screaming in my head.
Yeah.
Till I called you, and then I was screaming at you, and I didn't even realize it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't really work that way. It doesn't really work like, okay, well, you're only clairvoyant if you work that side.
Correct.
You're only clairaudient if you work that. As a whole,
yeah,
it's a muscle. All of it is just a muscle. and it will grow and it will get stronger the more you work at it. But they're going to give you the messages that the way they want to give them to you.
Well, I think for us too, we didn't know we had said particular muscle until somebody gave us a message that way. And then you're like, oh, well, okay, now I need to start looking into that. Or, and so I think a lot of the times it's not even a matter of, half the time we don't even know we have the muscle. The new kids, we don't know.
Well, yeah.
It's like, like you said, we're doing this now. So it's an ever evolving process of ability. I mean, I know even with Andrea, I mean, I've been working on some of my stuff for like 3 years, but just meeting Andrea, everything shifted. My Reiki is completely different. My energy work is completely different. My connection to spirit, everything shifts. So I think if we're willing to admit that we're always going to be evolving and we're always going to be learning.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part of this stuff.
I do too. And I think that you're put in the path of people that you're meant to know.
Yeah.
I have never been more surrounded by people that live their lives from a place of love.
Mm-hmm. So true.
And Chris and Audra are a perfect example of that. Like, when I'm around them, I feel safe and loved. And our new friends that we've made here, Donna and Connie and Scott and Heather and Sarah and Zach and Mike and Everett, and I feel so surrounded by people that operate from a place of love.
Yep.
And not ego.
Yep.
Not
it's light. They operate with light.
Yeah, they operate from light. So I don't ever think twice about going anywhere with Chris and Audra. And my mother doesn't either, because even before she met them in Gettysburg, she was like, okay, have fun with my friend Chris Allgood. And I'm like, okay. My mother also has a bit of a sentient, like sensitive gift. She won't admit it.
We got to get it from somewhere.
You got to get it from somewhere. Although it does help that my father was a Cherokee Indian. So
that also helps tremendously. Yes.
That does also help tremendously. But I also know that my soul is 1,100 years old.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel I'm constantly amused by that fact that I'm just sort of like, are you sure? I don't feel like I'm that old.
I might still feel 11 years old, but not 1,100 years old.
1,000%. I don't act like I'm that old. But everybody that I'm surrounded with, Chris and Audra and you and Andrea and Roger, and God, how is this life? Aaron, tell me.
Same boat. I don't know. When you figure out the answer, you let me know. I mean, I was, after the farm, same thing. I was talking to Ken Acosta. I was like standing in front of the Conjuring House at 1:30 in the morning. And I'm going, how the fuck did I get here?
Thank you. Thanks.
It's an honor. It's an honor. It is an honor. If we don't give back what we've learned, and if we don't help somebody grow and expand and learn this new part of themselves, then what the hell are we doing?
What are we doing?
Life's too short to be mean. It's, and when you're going through something like this, you need support.
Absolutely.
And I think when you get the support and you honor the people in your life and you do what the universe is already guiding you to do, things just start to click and fall into place, right? And the people fall into place, the experiences.
Yeah.
Yay. So it's like, it's not that life gets easier. It just becomes less of I feel less of a salmon. I'm not constantly swimming upstream,
Right. Yeah.
There's that clarity, I think, with doing this work where you get to the point. Can you believe it's already 10:45? I know we're going to get like a 5-minute.
Dude, I mean, you and I can just chat for
hours. We do this all the time.
All the time. But I will say to everybody watching, and I certainly hope that anybody that's new and coming into their abilities or finding that they have abilities, yes, it is scary. Yes, it is intrusive. Yes, you might feel violated. I certainly did. Like sometimes I still do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have those abilities, you know who you can trust. It's weird. Like I've got this and I'm like, I've got this intuition and it's like huge and bright and amazing.
You can't bullshit a room full of people with sensitive abilities.
You
can't.
absolutely cannot.
Sorry.
Like you just know who to go to.
Yeah.
And with Jennifer, where can folks listen to your podcast? And do you have a website? Yes. Thank you, Bill. Yes. So folks can listen to our podcasts. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, we are also now on YouTube. It's History of a Haunting podcast. And our website is hoahpodcast.com. You can also listen to episodes there. So the fact that Jennifer is giving all of you high praise and her stamp of approval is a very big deal because Jennifer is very, very protective of me. And not everybody passes her
muster.
Yeah.
Nor should they.
No, nor should they.
You know, I mean,
I should probably listen to her more.
Normally, if I was doing my job appropriately, I'd have had the list for him, and then we had a hurricane.
But also, this is me and Laura. We went to see Mothman in Point Pleasant. So, yeah, check us out. We do our episodes drop every Saturday, and we do our weekly weird stories every Monday morning to get your week started off right and weird. We are a big fan of the weird.
Are you still selling merch too?
No, that's
okay. The merch was over. Okay,
the pre-sale is done.
Pre-sale's done.
We made the order, yeah. So we should be getting those in just a couple.
Thank you, Bill. You're the best.
Thank you, Bill. I do want to thank you, Aaron, my dear darling friend, and I want to thank Andrea Perrin for having me on her show. I appreciate the opportunity, and I can't wait to come back. I also can't wait to have you both on our show too. So.
Yeah, I think what I love about this show is that, if you told me a year and a half ago I'd be doing this, I would have said, nope, not in a million years.
Yeah.
But it allows me to bring on some of my favorite people, you know, and I love when I get the chance to do these things, and I know I'll get more opportunities to step in and bring more of my friends on. But because my friends are also, they're just amazing people. And every one of you, whether you're sensitive or not, brings something huge to this community and something huge to our lives. And so to be able to, you know, have people on to just basically shoot the breeze for 2 hours and learn something new. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is always being able to learn something. And whether it's your podcast or just discussing, you know, what we've learned in our own current paths and where we're headed now. I mean, we have to be willing to work together. We have to be willing to learn from each other. And I mean, the kindness that I have been extended in this community, and especially, I mean, in the very beginning, you guys were so much a part of the beginning for me. I mean, I met y'all in October, I think. So it was right after I met Roger and Andrea. So, you know, you and Tony and Cherie and Chris and Audra, and Ron and Lourdes were very much a part of my beginning of this. And everyone has just been so kind. And I am always going to be grateful for that. Yeah. You know,
it's an amazing road we found ourselves on, and with amazing people and a family that we've built. And I just hope that everybody watching understands that you guys can have that too. And you have people that are there for you. And if you don't, reach out to me. I will freaking help you. Aaron will help you. Andrea, we will help you. Yeah. Because we know what it's like to just kind of find ourselves in this wonderful serendipitous place.
I mean, you and I talked just about well, whether it's text or something, at least a couple of times a week. And usually it's, 2 to 3 hours of at least one conversation.
Oh my God.
Catching up.
It was ridiculous.
But to have found these kinds of friendships, I know for me, I never really had girlfriends growing up, so to me, I've also stepped into this new world of what it feels like to have female friends that you can call and talk about whatever. I mean, that's a whole new world for me. So to be able to be surrounded by people like you, who just love me for me, no matter what state of chaos I might be in that week. That's pretty amazing. And we all have this connection, and everything goes back to Andrea.
It absolutely does. And A World Awakening is not just a show. It is
it's her way of life.
It's her way of life. It is a mindset. It's being proven all the time. The world as we know it is awakening to different things. And the guests that she has on her show.
Thank you, Miss Nancy.
The guests that she has on her show, their own individual worlds are awakening. And it's just, I see how she interacts and how you interact with the guests on the show. And it's really remarkable. And it is something really phenomenal to be a part of.
It is. And it's, I told Greta once, I'm like, if at one point somebody calls me and said, all right, off the train now, I can look back at as the train goes by and say, that was the best time of my life.
Not one regret.
Not one. And I'm glad to have had it. If it ends tomorrow, like it was, what a ride. Yeah.
It's been really remarkable. But it's far from over.
No, we're just beginning, girl. We're just getting started.
Absolutely.
So, well, and on that note, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. I will post links. Thank you so much to Bill for stepping in where I lacked with getting links, but I will get Carrie's links up tomorrow on the Buttercup Brigade. So you can find the podcast and you can find her Instagram and all the things, TikTok, all that jazz.
I'm literally everywhere.
You are literally everywhere.
I whore myself out everywhere. Just come find me.
And on that note, thank you all for joining us. What an amazing start to your weekend. And we will see you soon. And as Andrea would always say, just continue to be the light that you seek. Thank you.